found out. We found out who the top dog is. We knew we were the better team this whole time going into the playoffs. After this bye week, this season, and going into the playoffs, we knew that this was the best team going into it. And we come out on top as Super Bowl champions. Super Bowl 59 champions. And we have a lot to discuss here. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. There's just so much to go over. So proud. This was the redemption year. From 22 to 24 is a phenomenal story that we're always going to remember. So let's get straight into the finishing product of Super Bowl 59. Eagles Super Bowl champions. God, man. God.
A killer buried, but not dead.
Darren, we better turn around. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Today's video is sponsored by BetUS Stuff. Go check them out if you guys have not, okay? I have been up for a while since the game has ended, and it has been a wild ride, okay? Nothing's really scripted here because realistically we're talking from the heart here because this was a phenomenal story. This was the redemption story for the Philadelphia Eagles that went through its ups, it went through its downs from 22 to 24. This is the result of a story of a lot of adversity, a lot of what ifs, and a lot of things that just panned out, and these players being set up for success and building up to these moments is what it's all about, okay? The Philadelphia Eagles beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Those... I don't even know where to begin with this between the media days, between the Eagles not getting the respect they deserve. This quarterback is going to finally get the respect that he deserves because there was no running game today with Saquon Barkley that was 25 for 57. Okay, 2.3 yards a carry for Saquon Barkley. Kansas City's defense sold out. They sold out for Saquon Barkley. And what resulted in a loaded box because they want to stop Saquon Barkley and this run game so bad, it just opened everything up. This is why you make moves. That's why when I hear bullshit like Jalen Hurts has too much around him is the most bunch of BS I have ever heard in my life. Because you need weapons, you need a line, you need everything to win these types of games. But finally, the confetti is falling on Jalen Hurts. And all these players are getting their respect, and just a lot going on, man. A lot of emotion today because I'm still pinching myself and saying it was, for me, it wasn't like one of those, there's emotions, but it wasn't one of those crying moments for me because for me, it's like I knew we were the better team going into the playoffs. In the playoffs, I knew this was the best team, hands down. I don't care if they went to Detroit. I don't care if they stayed home. I didn't care what they did, where they went, because I know that they will win, okay? So you go into this game, okay? The Eagles put 40 points on the Chiefs. Okay, never mind the Chiefs had garbage time throws with backups in at the end of the game, getting 22 points. Realistically, the Eagles literally held them to 6 points literally with 28 to 30-something seconds at the end of the third quarter until the Eagles started putting backups in. Okay, Mahomes only had 33 yards passing in the first half. The Eagles literally had the largest lead in Super Bowl history. Okay, the entire game. At the half, the largest lead at halftime in Super Bowl history. Saquon Barkley broke the record for rushing yards and postseason rushing yards in a single season, top of the list for Saquon Barkley. This makes Jalen Hurts' case even better to really see because, at the end of the day, I think he'll get dogged down because Casey didn't play up to standard or whatever they want to throw at this thing. Move the goalposts further and further each time to still disrespect this quarterback going down the line. Hurts was 17 for 22, 221 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception, okay? He was 11 for 72 rushing and 119.7 QB rating. That's monstrous, bro. That's monstrous. Okay? There were probably like 2 bad throws from Hurts. Obviously, the pick that he threw, that he lobbed it to A.J. Brown downfield, okay? And then there was another one to A.J. Brown on the left sideline that I guess they didn't have good communication on that play. Maybe the ball was supposed to go somewhere else. That's where A.J. kind of threw a fit for a few seconds, and then A.J. came back with that 20-yard touchdown, okay? No one else in the AFC could beat the Chiefs, but this team can. This team just went into this game locked in, ready to go. They came out of halftime, no smiles. You watch even the players on the bench that are even playing on offense, defense, they aren't even laughing with each other. They're not even talking to each other. They're literally just looking straight forward, knowing what the goal is. Like there was a lot of, the guys would communicate, obviously. I saw Hurts with the offensive line, things like that. But I saw like A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, usually they're like laughing with each other. They were like looking straight forward. Like they were just like they were in it. They were in it. Nick Sirianni, proud. I'm very proud. He got this team prepared mentally right 100% for this game. Okay? This game couldn't have gone better than we ever could. Okay, Devontae Smith, big touchdown, 4 for 69. A.J. Brown, 3 for 43 and a touchdown. They even got Jahan Dotson involved in the first half, which I was like, wow. I was actually really happy. It seems like Kellen Moore really opened the playbook up more in this game, okay, with him so far almost going to get this job in New Orleans. We'll see what happens. We'll talk more about some of the comments that were made at the end of the game by Nick Sirianni, but I thought the offense did pretty well. I thought Spags' blitz didn't really do much to Jalen Hurts at times. I thought he beat the blitz pretty good, and Hurts is one of the best quarterbacks against the blitz this season, okay? It just went insane. Goddard, I thought, had a really good game. He's had a very good playoff since he's been back. He was 2 for 27, 2 big receptions. There was one where he was wide open, not even accounted for, so they were getting him involved. I know that Tyler Steen had to come in for Mekhi Becton, and Tyler Steen was starting to struggle a little bit. And obviously, Becton came back in later on, so I was really happy about that. But Hurts was accurate. Hurts was going through his progressions. And look, he had 1 turnover. It happens, you know what I mean? But they literally just got rid of it. They went to the next play, and that was it. There was nothing said about it after that, and they looked fine. As soon as Hurts threw that first pick, everybody was freaking out about it. Just got to reset ourselves, and let's just keep this thing rolling, okay? This defense literally had – let me tell you something. Okay, Mahomes couldn't do nothing with that offense. They literally didn't score until the end of the third quarter. Literally, the end of the third quarter. They put 6 on the board, went for 2, couldn't go for 2. And I don't care about the fourth quarter garbage time, 2 touchdowns they had against Trisha McCollum and some of the we had all backups in the game at that point, okay? I mean, this defensive line, by the way, Bryce Huff was inactive for this game. Before this game even happened, okay, like an hour before, Bryce Huff is on the inactive list. What did I tell you? Was talking about the last couple days that there were some rumors going around that Bryce Huff was either going to be a healthy scratch or he was going to be active but not play or just not play in general, and it looked like they just took him off to add more depth somewhere else in this game. Okay, Brandon Graham would have had a sack in this game, unfortunately, but he got held on that play. It was never called. It was called. It is what it is. Mahomes was a statue from beginning. I mean, there was nothing. I mean, the deep ball wasn't there. I mean, they literally couldn't get the short passing game going. D-Hop didn't do shit. Hollywood Brown didn't do shit. Their running game, they didn't do nothing. They couldn't do anything. Vic Fangio has played as he's faced Mahomes like 8 or 9 times, hasn't won. I mean, hasn't beat Mahomes. This is the best constructed roster that Vic Fangio's ever had, okay? 6 sacks, bro. 6 sacks. Josh Sweat, 6 tackles, 2.5 sacks. Milton Williams, 4 tackles, 2 sacks. Jalix Hunt, 1 sack. Jordan Davis, 1 sack. Did you see what did I say about the offensive line for KC? Joe Tooney moving to that left tackle spot, kind of been struggling there. Mike Caliendo at left guard, Trey Smith at right guard. That offensive line was god awful. God awful. The Eagles defensive line literally, they blitzed one. It says 0, but I know they blitzed one time. Zach Baun did a blitz in the middle of the fourth quarter, or early fourth quarter, I should say. 26 pressures from this defense. 26 pressures. Okay? And 6 sacks. 1 blitz. You were able to get a 4-man pass rush with your front 4 with no problem. No issue, no nothing. They were great on 3rd down. They were great on 4. I mean, they made stops. They were getting off the field quick. You know what I mean? And the Eagles were scoring every drive. I think the Eagles only punted like 1 time. Okay? Which is, you do these long, high possessional type games with time of possession is key. That Kansas City defense was gassed. But they were really still stopping the run, though. You know what I mean? So time of possession was key there. But for the Eagles defense, stop after stop after stop after stop after stop. Avonte Maddox had a deflection on 4th down against DeAndre Hopkins. These washout fucking players that didn't even contribute. Worthy is the only one that contributed later on when it was literally for garbage points. When they had to, I knew sometime down the line in this game, like Mahomes was going to throw deep when they were down more points in this game. Cooper DeJean. What did I say the other day? Cooper DeJean, pick 6 on his birthday. Pick 6. That was probably my favorite play of the game. Cooper DeJean getting a pick 6 as a rookie in a Super Bowl, going down the field and scoring right there. Okay? Then Zach Baun gets an interception later on. It was just unstoppable. This Eagles defense was unstoppable. I was sick and tired of the media availability, the bullshit that we heard the last couple weeks. This was about the three-peat. That New Orleans stadium was a home game for the Eagles. They literally booed Taylor Swift out of New Orleans, literally. Travis Kelce didn't do a damn thing in this game until the end. It really, when there was garbage time, they actually started to do stuff when we had backups. But like I said, backups in the game. They never talked about how good this defense was the last couple weeks. And from what we heard from Zach Berman, really the locker room, and this was news from before the game, that literally the talks behind the scenes in the Eagles locker room the last couple weeks has been that the Eagles have known that they are the better team. They just have to execute as the better team. And I thought they did. I thought they did tremendously. That's why, this game has a lot of emotion. But when you know your team is good and they can actually... They embarrassed the Chiefs. They got embarrassed, guys. This isn't like one of those... This wasn't like 17. You dethroned one dynasty. You just dethroned another dynasty with Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and Spags, the Kansas City Chiefs. So bad that you had literally Kansas City players crying on the sideline. And I have to say, the refs were actually not so bad in this game, to be honest with you. I saw DeAndre Hopkins bitch about the refs after the game. I saw that. You'd think I didn't see that, but I saw that. The OPI on A.J. Brown was a bunch of BS. We all know that. That was the first series for the Eagles offense. Eagles couldn't get the ball in the second half because they didn't win the coin toss. I was like, we're going to have to score a lot of points here before we have to start fighting the refs. But I thought they weren't that bad on both sides, to be honest with you. And they were actually catching Casey doing a lot of stuff in this game. and they were holding the crap out of this defensive line. And I would say a good amount was called, and there were some that they definitely missed. They always miss some. Okay? The OP on A.J. Brown called back BS. So I was like, all right, whatever. So then Dallas Goedert comes around and then had another one for Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert had the head-to-head or whatever, helmet-to-helmet. When he was trying to catch the ball, he got hit in the helmet or something like that, which probably shouldn't have been called. But I said, you know what? Now we're even. Now 2 BS calls. Even Tom Brady knew those were 2 really bad calls in this game. But I didn't think it was that bad. But this is what I'm talking about. Like, Saquon Barkley had one of his worst games of the year, but him just lining up on the field as a decoy just for the defense to load the box, and Jalen Hurts being a weapon with it within its own for the rushing attack, that's the threat. And if you load the box and then you start pressuring Hurts, he's going to find somebody open. That bomb to Devontae Smith was a beauty. Play action fake. Boom. Let them bite, and Devontae Smith burns the defense for a touchdown. Was so fantastic to watch. And this was another game where I thought distribution was really good. Really good. Like, everybody got involved. A lot of guys got involved offensively. Glad, like I said, Jahan Dotson got involved. It was actually really nice. They started to get Saquon Barkley in the passing game. They started to do some different things. The only things that weren't working as much as they were running on first down. They were making things a little obvious a little bit at times. Jalen Hurts' keepers, they started to read those way too much. But when the play isn't for Hurts to keep it for himself, and Hurts naturally finds those open spaces, and there's a huge run lane, boom. He didn't waste any time. I liked how Hurts didn't hesitate, and he looked really fast. I don't know. When he's not hesitating, man, Hurts can run. Entirely can run. And that was really amazing to see. Okay? That's how much Barkley means to this offense and how much Hurts means to this offense. One without the other, one hand washes the other when it comes to facing these type of defenses. I thought the Eagles would have had a little bit more success running the ball, but I have to give KC credit because I thought they defended it really well. I thought they did a pretty good job against the run. And even when they were tired, they were still stopping the run. I think Barkley's biggest run, I think it was 9, it was probably 10, 11 yards. It was on one carry that he had. But it was always hitting a wall for -1, +1, +2, -5, -2. I mean, it was we just couldn't get out of our own way. So maybe they had to run him a little bit differently to the outside. Even running him to the outside, there was a little bit of success, but not much. So this game goes to Jalen Hurts as the MVP. But this defense was fucking, I don't know, dude. I'm only 34 years old, and from all the Super Bowls I've seen in my life, I have never seen a defense that good. Like that shut down good. The Eagles were better. They were mentally better. They were physically better. They were bullies. KC was out-coached, outmaneuvered. We wanted it more. We weren't just happy to be there. This was a built-up moment the last couple weeks of all this shit that's been coming out news-wise. But let me tell you, the Eagles have their second championship. And I am not even one of those selfish guys that says, hey, well, not selfish, but I'm not really thinking about this Super Bowl as the Eagles get their second championship. I'm thinking about Jalen Hurts finally has a ring. A.J. Brown has a ring. Devontae Smith has a ring. Saquon Barkley. The guys, I think about the guys more than the logo in a lot of ways. That these guys have worked their ass off and really deserve this moment here. So I didn't expect the game to go like this. I thought they would have had a 10-point lead in this, going into the second half or something like that. But it was a lot more crazier than that. This was annihilation. This was BTA. Simple as that. I have to give credit to Nick Sirianni. I've eaten a lot of crow on players. I've eaten a lot of crow on coaches. I have eaten a lot of crow. Okay, on Fangio when he first got here, I didn't want to look at Nick Sirianni's face at the end from the end of last year going into this past off season. I've talked about Nolan Smith. I've talked about Nakobe Dean. I've said a lot of shit, but I've eaten a lot of crow, and I've humbled myself to a lot of things that have happened. So we need to enjoy this. The parade's on Friday, and we'll enjoy this for the next couple weeks. And then we see this team go to work again for another one. Look how far the rookies have gotten with Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell. I mean, realistically, the Eagles took the big play away all game defensively. I mean, the safeties barely got involved in this game just because, they weren't throwing. The only time they threw downfield was the end of the third quarter to, the early fourth quarter. But they really couldn't do much of anything, to be honest with you. That offensive line was suspect for KC since the start of it. It was suspect. I was saying it all week. They haven't faced a Jalen Carter. They haven't faced this defensive line. And not even having Bryce Huff active for this game, letting these other guys go on. I mean, Jalix Hunt, man, beating Joe Tooney at left tackle. It's actually pretty damn good, man. Jalix Hunt might be starting to, another offseason under his belt, see what happens with him. A lot going on there, man. Very proud. Brandon Graham would have had a sack, but Brandon Graham gets a second ring for himself, comes back at the right time, was glad that he was able to play in this game. Okay, you got to remember, guys, the numbers don't mean anything when it comes to defensive linemen. It comes down to pressures and containment. If you make the quarterback move a different direction, you're doing another job. You're the reason why someone else has a stat because, you moved him inside, you closed him inside the pocket, or you're containing him. But, man, I've never seen Kansas City so flustered from the quarterback to the coaching staff to the player. I mean, they looked so fucking out of it. The Eagles just made them submit. The Eagles literally put their foot on their necks without none of them even breathing, just to give them a little bit of life. I was afraid in that second half with a big lead that Fangio was going to do bend, don't break, and sit everybody back and keep everything open underneath, which, obviously they did later on in the, middle of the fourth quarter. I get that. I didn't want to have a 2-touchdown lead and just start to play conservative. And Fangio didn't do that. There has been some games where he's done that. But he didn't do that this game, which was great. And most of the time he doesn't do it, but when he does, it's dude, getting death by 1,000 paper cuts. That's all that is. We learned that in 22. It doesn't work. Will it win you the big game? Probably not. The most complete game I've ever seen from the entire team. Jalen Hurts put the offense on his back, and this defense was lights out. Lights out crazy. Josh Sweat is going to get that money. Milton Williams, he's going to get that money. I'll tell you, those are two guys that really showed up today as well as everybody else, let me tell you. So, I thought special teams was really good. Jake Elliott, man, congratulations, bro. We really needed that from you, buddy. We really needed that from you. You were, before the Super Bowl, right? He was what? He missed 5 kicks in the last 5 games. Literally. And he went into this game, and I was nervous. Not going to lie. I was not having a lot of faith in Jake Elliott in this game, but he kicked a 48, a 44, a 38. I forgot what he kicked. I forgot all the kicks, but he made I don't think he missed one. I think he made every single one of them. Okay. I know we had some field goal penalties, which was dumb. So we moved, Jake back after kicking once and making it. He had to go kick it again, which was really annoying. It is what it is. And then I think the one play I absolutely loved with it was the Milton Williams strip sack when they literally Milton Williams got to Mahomes' arm, stripped him, and then Jalen Carter took his hand and literally hit Pat Mahomes right in the face mask, and he just fell. I mean, it was just it was punishment. I mean, it was just I felt that in me. Like I really felt that, you know. Oh man. I mean, I don't want to just go on and on, but this is off script obviously because this is there's just so much to, really be thankful for, and the story from 22 until now has been a tremendous. I mean, you're taking role players and turning them into all pros like Zach Bond. You're taking players that didn't live up to another team, that, guys that either weren't getting the money they desired, like A.J. Brown and Saquon Barkley, and turn them into big time players. Howie Roseman making sacrifices, Howie Roseman taking chances, Howie Roseman just doing it all, and the coaching staff really pulling it for everybody. You know what I mean? Um, it's been there hasn't been a negative thing to say. We've been through our ups or downs this season. Okay, obviously the first 4 games weren't pretty. Okay, before the bye week didn't look pretty. We hit the bye week. A lot of guys wanted Nick fired. Myself not kind of included, but didn't like the certain things that were said. And things really started to change, and the defense started to gel, and the offense started to really get Saquon more involved after all the incident of AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts having this little argument when BG went on the radio and said all the stuff that they talked about. That the Eagles got that whole thing out of the way, and they literally turned to a different team. How Nick Sirianni has handled this team mentally and got them prepared mentally, I think he's been really good. See Nick Sirianni for another 4 years in Philadelphia on a new contract, which he'll be getting very soon. Same as Howie Roseman, because those guys are not going anywhere at this point. Okay? I'm not talking off season. I'm talking Super Bowl 59. The Eagles win their second championship. And this is where we're at. All 3 phases of this game were perfect. Perfect. Seriously, I didn't feel once the Eagles started getting a big lead, it was almost like, wow, I didn't think it was going to be this comfortable, but I thought we were way better than the Chiefs, but we were miles better than the Chiefs. Way better. Way better. I mean, I already knew we were better. But I mean, you had to tell me it would have been 40. Let's say 40-6. Let's be realistic here. The 22, like I said, the garbage points are garbage points. With back in the game, Mahomes got his garbage fucking everything underneath was wide open later on. So, they really showed out, man. This is something the Eagles can build on. This is I'm not gonna say it's a dynasty, but it's turning into something that could be very similar every single year. This is the golden era for the Philadelphia Eagles. This is the golden age right now. Okay, unfortunately in 22 you couldn't get it done. Unfortunately at the end of last year when you pretty much fell apart after 10-1, coaching issues and not dealing with adversity really well. Not having no self-urgency, no fight back. And you acquired players that have a lot of fight back. The culture so changed this season and really what it turned into. It's one of the greatest moments I've ever seen, more than 2017. 2017 is always memorable because it's your first Super Bowl, but realistically, when you win another one, you obviously each year you win a Super Bowl is different, Each year is always different. It feels different. And this was the most complete team I have ever seen. This is the most complete. All I heard, and I've heard it a couple times, the Eagles look good on paper, but, come on now. the KC beat writers were talking about, oh, Nolan Smith, he's having a good second year of his career in the NFL, but he's not a power rusher. He's a speed rusher. He's not a technique. He needs to be a technique sound rusher. Like they were talking. I mean, the KC beat writers thought this shit was in the fucking bag, dude. I saw Mekhi Becton literally hugging Sirianni and crying out of his eyes because the Eagles changed his life, changed his career. So I'm tired. My voice is shot, and I couldn't be any more happier than I am right now. Really. I am beyond just so proud of this team for doing what they did. So if I'm really missing anything, I apologize. But mentally, I'm like, whew, I am done, man. It's been a long day. So let me know in the comment section below what you guys thought about this game in general. I know I went on a little rant, but I really wanted to go in a lot of depth and just speak my mind as a Philadelphia Eagles fan. And for someone that makes content every day, for the people that stick by me every day, whether you agree with me or don't agree with me and still stick by me, I do appreciate it so much. It's not easy doing this sometimes when, you don't want to say the wrong thing. But, for me, I don't walk on eggshells, and I hope you're here because you want the truth and you don't want BS. You don't want to go through certain things. I love all you guys, my Eagles family. And yeah, here we are, bro. We have a lot more to do. We got an off season soon, but let's enjoy this week and next week. We have plenty of time to get into other stuff. This is a big time to celebrate. And I hope you guys enjoyed yourself. Love you all. Shake Squad up. Fly, Eagles, fly. The Philadelphia Eagles, Super Bowl champions, Super Bowl 59, redemption. Man, that's where when you say that, that's when you get emotional. That's where it really counts, man. Put respect on Jalen Hurts' name. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Peace out.